not your typical old school artist. I'm not an Edgar Allan Poe. I don't do the William Shakespeare style, which it's cool with me, but I try to give people different avenues on how you could present yourself and express yourself. So I'm all about being yourself. Damn, so what's my why? I use spoken word poetry to inspire, uplift, and motivate any ears my poems infiltrate. That's a bar, by the way. I love to show that poetry is tailored to your own personality, and your form of expression doesn't need to mirror what may be considered traditional or another artist's style of writing. Always be true to yourself, everyone else is already taken. And that's what I meant by people feel like when they see poets or hear spoken word, they have to be just like that person. I'm like, bro, you create what you want to create. You make it your own. Everybody's spaghetti don't taste the same. You know what I mean? You got to put your own little spins to it. Everybody potato salad definitely don't taste the same. So I'll be trying to express that to people. My poetry is really not traditional. But yeah, people I think like it because it is different. That's why I always say you never know how your words might inspire somebody. So that's why your best thing is just be true to yourself. Stop trying to fill in the void and be somebody else, or it's never going to work out for you. And my slides is real simple, as y'all can see. One of the people that's not local, a local poet by the name of Words McNeil, that's what really got me inspired to really write locally. As far as taking it to the next level, Rudy Francisco is my guy. He's from, ironic, he's from Cali. I don't think he's from San Francisco though, but he's traveled the world. I met him a couple of times. He always showed love. I'm like one of his biggest supporters. This is actually his hoodie that I'm wearing right now. So, one of my first poems that I ever heard from is Love Poem Medley, and I'm gonna play it for y'all. And this is what really got me into like figuring out my niche of how I want to go about writing and my style of writing and what works for me. So, if it's not loud enough, I'll turn it up. Let me see.
To the girl who works at Starbucks down the street from my house on Delmar Heights Road, swear to God, I'm not a stalker. That's the title. When I asked you for a chai latte, what I meant to say was, I was walking past, I saw you in the window. To be honest, I only came in here because I had to know what your voice sounded like. Instead of saying that, I got really nervous and ordered the first thing on the menu. I don't even know what chai is. Or a latte, for that matter. I imagine that when God made you, I bet he cussed for the first time. I bet he turned to an angel, gave him a high five and said, God damn, I'm good. Or me damn, I'm good, because he's like God, right? I spent the last 5 days trying to figure out how I'm going to introduce myself to you properly. I finally figured it out. It's going to be something like, hi. That's all I got so far. But I think it's a good start. I'm going to be honest. It's not often that I find myself eager to write about love. In fact, every time I try to write about love, my hands cramp. Just to show me how painful love can be. Sometimes my pencils break just to prove to me that every now and then, love takes a little more work than you planned. I heard that love is blind, so I write all my poems in Braille. And my poems are never actually finished because true love is endless. I've always believed that real love is kind of like a supermodel before she's airbrushed. It's pure and imperfect, just the way that God intended. I'm going to be honest, I'm not much of a love poet. But if I was to wake up tomorrow morning and decide that I was going to write about love, my first poem, it would be about you. About how I love you the same way I learned how to ride a bike. Scared, but reckless, with no training wheels or elbow pads so my scars can tell the story of how I fell for you. I'm going to be honest, I'm not much of a love poet. But if I was, I'd write about how I see your face in every cloudy reflection, in every window. You see, I've written a million poems, hoping that somehow, maybe some way you'll jump out of the page and be closer to me. You see, I'm not much of a love poet, but if I was, I'd write about how you have the audacity to be beautiful, even on days when everything around you is ugly. I'd write about your eyelashes and how they are like violin strings that play symphonies every time you blink. If I was a love poet, I'd write about how I melt in front of you like an ice sculpture every time I hear the vibration in your voice, and whenever I see your name on the caller ID, my heart plays hopscotch inside of my chest. It climbs onto my ribs like monkey bars, and I feel like a child all over again. I know it's gonna sound weird, but sometimes I pray that God somehow turns you back into one of my ribs just so I would never have to spend an entire day without you. And I swear I'm usually not a love poet, but if I was to wake up tomorrow morning and decide that I was gonna write about love, my first poem, it would be about you. And after all of that, she was like, but how do you feel about me? And I said, put it like this. I want to be your ex-boyfriend's stuntman. I want to do everything he never had the courage to do. Like trust you. See, last night I had a dream. In this particular dream, I died in my dreams, awoke not knowing I was still asleep, and decided to walk. See, that night, I walked in my sleep. I slept in my walk. I walked backwards until I saw you for the first time, and I could barely muster the courage to introduce myself all over again. You see, I've been trying to find the right words. I've been trying to take the right steps for what seems to me like thousands of years, but something always seems to go wrong between us. We lived in Egypt. I was the Pharaoh's slave. You were his daughter. Loving you led to my death. They claimed I seduced you, and after they stole my life, I was resurrected as a mason. I made the foundation for your house. We met eyes for 2 seconds. You left and I didn't see you again until I died. I came back as a caterpillar. I turned into a butterfly. I landed in the palm of your hands. You brushed me away and the rejection killed me. When I woke, I was a kick drum. You were a snare. We were both owned by this drummer named Cozy Cole, and when he died, so did we, but I came back just to look for you. I left notes in random places, hoping that you would stumble across them. I carved our names in trees and then prayed that it would jog your memory. I whispered your name in the wind, hoping somehow, maybe some way, my voice would reach you, but it didn't, and I died. I died early. I died young with breadcrumbs in my hand, just hoping that you would find me, but you never did, so they buried me. When they buried me, they put these coins over my eyes, and I used them as bus fare to get back to Earth, just so I could look for you. That's why sometimes when we hold hands, every so often, I hold on a little too tight, and I'm sorry. I just don't want to lose you again. My mother told me, when you find the perfect woman, you gotta do whatever it takes to make sure she stays next to you. Thank you.
So that's my favorite poet. I ain't trying to compete against nobody like that, but like, even watching him for the first time, Mac Poems, he's also nice. I can't wait to meet him one day. He doesn't just recite poetry, he performs the poem. You know what I mean? Like, you can feel it in his bones. Like, he controls the room just off his performance. So when I started watching, that was the very first poem I heard. I'm like, I gotta get there. Like, how do I get there? And that's why I learned you gotta really speak what you feel. You know what I mean? Because, like, there's one way you can read something, but there's a way you can recite something. You know what I mean? Roses are red, violets are blue. That's just you reading it. But then you got people out here, roses are red, and violets are blue. You know what I mean? That's what really makes it a performance. So he really inspired me to really tap into how I can have my stage presence, my cadence really captivate what I write. So with him, his figurative language is what really got me and what made me like really push my pen even harder. When Rudy performs, he speaks with passion, as if you were a part of the conversation. He removes the perception of him reading a poem through conversation like comparisons and wittiness. I heard love is blind, so I write all my poems in Braille. That's the wittiness I'm talking about. Or like one of my favorite, I love you the same way I learned how to ride a bike, scared. But if you look at the shirt, like this was actually on my hoodie, it's scared and reckless. Like, how do y'all interpret that line? Anybody?
I love you scared but reckless. The scared portion to me means like having that insecurity to give your trust and loyalty to someone. And then the reckless is also having the risk of what may come with that.
Right, so that's why for me it really clicked when he was like, hey, you right, I remember riding a bike without the training wheels, man, you don't know what's about to happen. Same way, you know, you devote your love to somebody, you don't know how it's gonna turn out. So that's what really gravitated. I'm like, yo, the way he brings up things and compares it, it really makes sense to me. I want to be an ex-boyfriend stuntman. I want to do everything he never had the courage to do. Somebody saying something like that could take my girl any day if it works like that. I can feel that, because I'll push you to him, because I ain't even thinking nothing like that. That's my favorite bar right there. He need to put this on a hoodie. Rudy poetry highlights different avenues of emotion that all leads to the same feelings. And that's what I like about his comparisons. His metaphors and similes always gravitate to how he feels. And it's really relatable to like whoever the audience is listening. So that's why he's my favorite poet. Anybody got any questions? There you go.
Like, when it comes to making like bars like that, like, is it just like practicing the pen, or like how do you get to a moment where you're just hitting like these type of metaphors? Because I feel like when you're writing, like you get when you get some bars like here and there, but I feel like the way he just like, how do you think of stuff like that?
The thing is, you gotta look at it this way. It's probably just off of experience.
It's like time.
You know what I mean? Like versus if you battling somebody, you just gotta figure out a quick 16. He probably really talking about something that really went on in his life and just came to him. You get what I mean? So that's why I said it's true. One thing I really learned, I try to tell people, because I like usually memorize all my poems. If you're able to memorize a song that's not yours, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to memorize what you created from your own heart. You know what I mean? You can recite your favorite song word from word, and you don't even know when they even made it or how they even created it. So that if you can do that with these strangers, there's no reason why you can't do that for your own words. That's why I say respect your own words and write what you feel you need to write. Don't write for all, because people usually tell me things like, yo, I want the reactions you get. Like, I'm trying to write like you. I say, you can't write like me. Write what works for you. That's what's going to give you the reaction. They can tell when it's genuine, when it's not. You know what I mean? You got to find what works for you and stick to that. And then start mastering it from there. So, every time I write something, I always pretty much go back to that video and other videos that just re-inspire me again. Because like I said, there's always room for improvement. Same way, Rudy Francisco was my guy. I just found out about Matt Capone last year. He had another one. He might be a heavy hitter. I don't know how long he's been out here, but I just discovered him, so I talked to him. I'm trying to see him in Philly soon, but he's another one that really made me start looking at different avenues of how I could always alter my art. Because there's always room for improvement. But figurative language is definitely my style. Writing randomly with reality. This is why I'll be saying how I usually train my brain for my wittiness and stuff. So the reason why I call myself random is because the definition of it is no specific pattern, purpose, or objective. I don't know what to expect. I kind of live my life that way, so that's why I named myself that. With that being said, when I write, you can write about anything. You know, you got classes where you might go in, they got things on the, like words on the wall or writing prompts and everything. The way I challenge myself is, I'll just look around and just pick something and just go off of that. And then figure out how whatever I pick relates to my current lifestyle. So for instance, this is one of my poems. It's called Green Therapy. I don't know if y'all can see it, so I'll read it. My aloe plant teaches me indirectly. It sits in soil instead of excuses. It never prioritizes problems over its petals. Its sole mission is growth. The seed learned to ignore distractions once placed in the dirt. The only planting necessary is finding the perfect pot as it becomes better and stronger daily. So if anybody wants to see, they can break that down there. Like, everybody's interpretation is different, so there's no wrong answer. How do y'all feel? Where y'all think this poem means, in your opinion?
You can learn from anything.
Man, I thought about my plant died too. I thought about it. But before it died, I don't know what I was feeling that day, but I was just looking at it and I'm like, yo, you really just sit there and grow all day. Like, you got one job, you're in the dirt, ain't nowhere going further than that. It's only up from there. You know what I mean? You get the proper resources, the sunlight, the water.
The line that stuck out to me most was it never prioritizes problems over its petals. And I think with the way things blow, like, it could cause you to shift, but I feel like focusing on yourself and who you are.
Yeah,
like,
100%, bro. Like, no matter what, and I hate to say that, no matter how the world is, I gotta keep going. I gotta keep elevating. You got one job, growth. You know what I mean? The one thing is worried about, I'm gonna get stronger, I'm gonna become better. Eventually, you're gonna have to, you know what I'm saying, switch to pop, you know, because that's how successful you become. That's the same way I look at my life, and that's what it taught me. I can't dwell on everything I don't have control of. I can't stress over what I don't have control of. And this is just me looking at the aloe plant. So that's how, that's where the randomness comes in. Like I said, you could just, I could write something just to write, just to keep my, the creativity going. But next thing you know, I really sit back and I listen to it. I'm like, this is how it's really touching me lifestyle-wise and moral-wise. So that's one of my little quick poems. Oh, matter of fact, I'll even give y'all examples. Like when I say writing randomly with reality, these are just like little prompts that I would do. Matter of fact, here, I'll just, I'm tired. I've been at work all day. This is how I know I was tired. I was trying to print out 12. I got 24 of them.
Is it back and forth or just one each?
They should be a back and forth. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Sorry.
so that's just other examples of ones I wrote based on. Socks is my favorite probably. Y'all had any questions before I slip this next slide? So for this one, I was like, do I just want to perform it? But nah, I'll play this. This poem was more so, well, I'll just play it first and we'll talk about it afterwards. This kind of old, so you're going to see that I talk fast in this one, I'll break it down for y'all. This is when I got rusty. This is when I first started performing poetry again.
When did butterflies start disguising themselves as women? Modeling bright-colored wings with love, dancing with the wind, every song played at heaven's prom. With a voice, soft and soulful like Sunday morning hymns. I think it would be wrong to say, I want to taste your body like the first Sunday's communion. So we're gonna act as if I never said that line. And since I've been loving you, every moment you enter flashes of orbit, just in the way you outshine the rest of these solar sisters. Changed my favorite subject to science. And just like a star, I wish I could kiss Corinne Bailey Ray for blessing my ears with beautiful notes of that song. I'm not a love poet, and I'm far from sweet. And yet, I'm still a sucker for your bright eyes and dimples. I'm like a kid in a candy store when I shop at Victoria's Secret. But I think my tongue loves ladies in lingerie more than licorice. Finding myself breathless. So tell me how I'm supposed to breathe with no air. And the joy that can't spark my heart. Who's gonna step into the plate, hit that home run for a future husband, create the perfect love song. But I don't wanna give you the wrong impression. And I hope I'm not sounding too desperate. But I need love and affection. So you consider this my cliche love poem, inspired to write, leading the words from my womb shaped by a beautiful dagger. You see, the cops charged Cupid with attempted murder, but really it was just attempted happiness. And we both share the love of traveling. So let me journey into your fantasy so I can explore every letter besides your G-spot. And when I return, I will strip you down and sink my fingers in your Hershey skin tone till my hands are covered in chocolate and your tongue is licking the tips of my fingers. While I'm lost in your loyalty, not even caring to find an exit. I'm too stubborn to share with anyone else, and I'm depressed. Every morning I wake up to your cold side of the bed. Empty. As if winter slept beside me. I would give the Tooth Fairy Lil Wayne's grill just to have her deliver it to me. But then I would replace Lil Wayne's teeth. And to be honest, I'm the furthest thing from perfect like everyone I know, and yet I felt so far gone to the point that when I returned, nothing was the same. I just had old memories of young money. Writing poems using artists in their songs until a lovable presence massaged my soul and I realized it was you, standing right beside me, holding a beautiful dagger. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, welcome. I'm Ricky Mayweather, also known as the Random Poet. Y'all names are?
Prasad.
Nice to meet you.
David.
Okay, nice to meet you. We just running through like performances about the difference between reciting poetry and performing poetry. For instance, like with that, I was so in tune with the crowd, I was more excited just to perform. You know what I mean? Like I said, you will learn like when you start to really recite poems and perform them more regularly, you'll start to know it more than just memorizing it. Because people's whole thing is they'll try to memorize something and then you go up there, but now you're trying to rush through it just to get it through versus you taking your time, you feeling it, you know what word's coming next, now you can play with the crowd. Because I like to take advantage of the whole room. If I have a band, I'm trying to use the band. If I got a cafe or a small room like I do here, I like to provoke. I don't even like using the mic. I like to talk to people. Like I said, I like that homecoming and like cozy type of vibe and whatnot. So you'll find yourself performing and then you'll just let the words just take over your body. You might just end up doing something you ain't even plan on doing. So with this, one of my friends gave me the title of Beautiful Dagger. And when I started writing it, I was listening to certain songs and it inspired me to actually start using the artists and their songs into my actual lyrics to the poem. So that's how I ended up starting using rappers and everything like that, and then that's what came out of it. But that's why I always find ways to challenge myself. I don't want to just be in one lane. Because like I said, creativity, you can create anything you want. There's no limitation to imagination. That's why I tell people, just put something down. You might not finish a poem right then and there. But if you write a lane right now, you might have a line for it the next week or the next month. Eventually you'll have something that's all the way complete. But don't rush it. Like you shouldn't rush your own words because it's your words. and own your words and respect your words. Any questions?
Side note, that's when I discovered Random Poet.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, the 2C shot at this.
Mayweather.
That was fun, man. Living a spoken word lifestyle. My experience as a spoken word artist so far has taught me that there is underlying messages within reality if you open your eyes and your heart to it. You can find yourself discovering solutions through society if you're not discouraged by vulnerability. Even when I challenge myself to write about random things, they can and usually find ways to have me self-reflect on my current lifestyle. Poetry can do more than just provoke potential. Spoken word poetry can also be a prescription to your peace if you practice expression. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, so why not create? You are in control of the outcome of your words, so compromise with your consciousness and create what will make you elevate. Never block your success with a ceiling. Remember, there's no limitation to imagination. So, any questions? That's the whole slide right there. I tell you, I'm stuck with that. Anybody got any questions?
Okay, rap versus spoken word versus recitation, or
I feel like it's all cousins in the same family.
they are.
That's how I look at it.
Well, like what's the distinction? I mean, you don't consider yourself a rapper.
Nah, because usually a lot of my stuff doesn't rhyme. You know what I mean? So like bar for bar, like a lot of my similes are just metaphors and just comparisons and just usually it depends. I mean, I feel like could I rap? Possibly, but I just never tried. Oh, what's up? We just talking about
Hi everybody, since I'm interrupted. I'm Jasmine.
we just chopping it up.
Okay,
that's all.
so I don't know what to do. So I'm just move this chair over.
Oh, my bad.
You can go on.
These are just examples of like me writing just things that's around the house and like I call it writing reality.
Okay, maybe he will recite it.
I was about to say, is that the aloe plant? But it's not. That's a different plant. That's still living though, whatever that is.
But when
But like you were saying, I still feel like it's all related. I really can't speak on rap because I never really rap. You know what I mean? I did like a little freestyle here and there, but I wouldn't say I'm a rap. Can you give me some insight on rapping?
No. Well, go ahead. But what makes spoken word? Like, I mean, is there a specific way that it has to be?
For me, I'm not. That's why I said I'm the boy that's gonna tell you, you make it what you want it to be. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. That's why I said there's no right or wrong way of doing it. The only thing I always say is be true to yourself. That's the main thing, because everyone else is taken. So you make it sound how it's supposed to sound. Cause like I said, it's not gonna sound right if you try somebody else's. You could. It's always cool to try something out, but if it's not working for you, don't force it.
Okay, you know, like how haiku is like, okay, 5, 7, 5, or whatever.
5 syllable, 7 syllable. 5.
Is that something that we do with spoken word at all? Or
You can. It's just. I think it really comes down to what are you trying to get your point across? Like, what's the message that you're trying to send?
Well, to become a spoken word artist, like, you know, is there a specific formula that pretty much?
I tell
so
people
to
just
decide
write.
that this is spoken word as opposed to no, that's rap, or this is just
I think you make it wherever you
poetry
want
that
to.
you read more so than poetry that you perform. Like,
Now,
there's-
granted, you're right. Like even like these, I don't perform these. You know, these might be in my chat book or something like that. Like if I perform, 9 times out of 10 I perform. Depending on what's the type of vibe. If it's an open mic, then I don't know what I'm gonna perform till I get there, because I usually memorize all my poems. If it's like a theme, like for Black History Month, it's Black Labor. So this upcoming Wednesday, which I'm gonna be hosting, pull up if y'all gonna be here. I have a Black Labor poem that I wrote for that. So sometimes I specifically write something for certain things, and sometimes it's just I'm gonna go up there and just say what I want, and that's how I feel for that time being. Both. Until you get to that point where just you've been writing like that for so long, and just like researching and finding other people. Like for instance, I want to be an ex-boyfriend stuntman. I want to do all the things he never had the courage to do. Like that's probably him, because I think real life he was really trying to talk to somebody. That's what he felt in his soul to tell her. You know what I mean? It just came naturally. So I'm really expressive though. Like even regular day life, you give me a coffee and I'm like, yo, this is the best coffee I ever had at Dunkin'. Like, yo, what's your zodiac? You know what I mean? What you like? Like I'm just asking questions. Everything deserves expression. You know what I mean? That's how I write. I always exercise it. So I think the more that you just push your pen and just writing your thoughts and things down, because like I said, that's what makes me so random. I might just jot something down that I thought about and then come back to it later. And then next thing you know, you just got a whole list down. Now you got a piece of work that you can recite at one point. So don't feel like you have to not have a flow. You can have a flow, but if you just want to try different avenues, I'm always testing things out.
Yeah, I'm gonna try different things.
I want you to compare something for me. So, what were the stages for you regarding confidence from the first time you had to perform?
This is before I knew the difference between knowing the poem and memorizing the poem. I'd be like, oh, I got a show coming up. Let me write this right now and hear it. So when you get there, now I'm just in my head trying to get through it. So now I'm not really engaging the crowd. They don't even know what I'm saying because in my head, I'm just thinking about what I got to get through to say that I did it. But you rushing through it, you didn't please anybody because they couldn't even understand what you were saying. Like, it took me a while to realize. Back then, I thought it was fine. So you compare, like, my old poems to now, I used to always keep something in my hand. Like, it was like a stress tactic. And I never paid attention to it. You know, I'm telling myself, like, oh, that's my signature thing. You know, Arizona bottle in your hand or something like that. And then I started thinking about it, and, like, people used to tell me, yo, slow down. Like, yo, slow down. Like, you just so hype intense. And it's just like, I didn't even realize I didn't know my poetry at the time. Now it's to the point where when you really know it, it's embedded in you, I could say 3 lines, walk down the street, make something to eat, come back, and then recite the rest of it like I never even left. But that's because I actually know it. So that's the difference between memorizing the poem and knowing the poem. But that's like a whole different workshop where I can really tell you how to get down. So like even right now, like I said, I want to perform something. It's just a matter of what do I want to perform? You know what I mean? Because I have so many that I did throughout the years that I really love. And it's just like a filing cabinet in my head. And I'm just sitting there rummaging through trying to figure out what suits that mood for that moment. I come up with these questions. I like this, man. I told you that's like a family.
So essentially, once you memorize the poem, the confidence just naturally comes with it.
Mm-hmm. And it's just repetition. The more you do it, and it also depends on your atmosphere. Like I said, versus me trying to teach something like this at just some open bar or something like that, where half the people probably don't even care. I'll probably struggle more. Versus I know y'all here for it. You know what I mean? So now I'm even more confident because I know all y'all appreciate the art. So it just motivates me even more to want to even give y'all the best of me. You know what I mean? Because y'all taking time out y'all to be with me, and I appreciate that. So the best way I can show y'all is to teach y'all what I learned so far and try to get y'all to the next step that y'all trying to get to. Any other question? Oh, first, can the room please say poetry?
Oh.
That's just my signature. I don't know like saying that. I gotta feel everybody energy like. But no, I really appreciate y'all coming out, supporting the artists. I always appreciate that. If y'all know anything that needs a poet, let us know. Please let everybody know about open mics and whatnot. You ain't even got to perform. Just come and just take in the vibes and energy. I titled this one Endless. I'll do that one. You're a volcano that erupts diamonds from your voice every time you speak. And I want to hug you tight enough until I suffocate the insecurities right out of your skin. Reach that perfect score and pleasing you like others that failed you in the past. Your well-being matches the rhythm of my heartbeat. And your kisses complements my craving of keeping you happy. Like sunsets swimming into the ocean. You are the epiphany this earth has been waiting for. An amazing ambiance of attraction. And I appreciate your existence. So let me audition for a spot into your soul. Warm. Like fresh baked cookies out the oven. Your fashion is always flavorful. And you've unlocked the cheat codes to terminating my trauma. And now you have unlimited access to my emotions. As if you were heaven sent to help me heal through this event. Placing my heart into the boat of your beauty. Just a voyage through my vulnerability. Carrying me through your waves of wisdom. Your personality is ecstasy. And you are a vibrational energy remixed into reality. And I'm willing to make any and every sacrifice just to have you a part of my life. Because I've been patient for that type of love. That C-Fact open mic night feel kind of love. That kiss after our 5th date kind of love. That Netflix and actually chill type of love. That find the ring heavy enough to drop you down on one knee like knee kind of love. That upgrade to husband and wife kind of love. That hold our newborn child in my arms kind of love. That you are the breath that gives me life inside of my lungs kind of love. And you are Mother Nature who nurses my mental. And I'm just a forest who's fallen in love with your thunderstorms of support. Your loyalty struck me like lightning, and your smile is electrifying. And you are a rainbow with a heartbeat, and your self-respect will always be worth more than any pot of gold. And I am grateful for being the glue that mended broken pieces from past relationships, providing me the tools I need to build our dynasty. Never knowing what you have until it's gone, but when I stare into your eyes, they tell me our future is for eternity. and our affection will always be everlasting, as if our relationship is a sundial that lost track of time. So let's both be each other's shining star and grow old in this galaxy of gratitude together. Thank you.
The conviction.